So when I sat down to write this sermon a few days ago and was finishing up, I had the thought, maybe I should tell the staff here at Temple Israel that I was going to be speaking about the artist Albert Levi. And lo and behold, I arrived. I didn't call anybody, and his picture is right in front of you, which is a perfect beginning, because earlier this week, in case you didn't know, Temple Israel welcomed this artist Albert Levi, to our community. Now, he is not just an artist. He describes himself as a lost teenager turned soldier turned artist. And for those of you who are not able to attend, I'm going to suggest that after tonight's service, if you want to, you can take that QR code and take a look at his work here at Temple Israel. You should go onto his social media sites, check out the work that he's doing online, and know that this is a gift from the artist, which will be auctioned off to support our TI for Israel campaign here. You have got to see what he does in person and the amazing images that he puts out into the world. But what stands out for me about that particular night was the unexpected transformation that he describes in his own personal life. As a kid, as I mentioned, Albert was an at-risk student who rejected rules. He hated everything about authority. He smoked at the age of 14. He hung out with the wrong crowds, and he had no ambition at all in life. He was a typical adolescent screw-up in Israel with no legitimate future in sight. And then suddenly, as he describes, without notice, something changes inside of him. And now Albert attributes that change to what was going on around him. Some of his friends had decided to apply to elite units in the army. But the Israel Defense Forces was asking for more than what Albert thought he could give. Somehow, in that moment, it struck him. He heard a voice in his head that said, "Why not?" And he made a decision that altered the course of his life forever. Albert Levi went from teenage mess-up to basic training to advanced preparation for what is known as one of Israel's special forces in the IDF. And eventually, he found himself guarding and defending his country in Gaza. And in those brief moments on leave between army deployments, he would go home to his mother's living room, he took out her paints, and he started to put something on canvas as a form of his personal release. And in that painting, he found a kind of healing. From a broken teen to an elite soldier to painter, his art actually tells the story of that transformation. And the images that emerge from his canvases have life and energy and a hope for the future. He is now 23 years old, and he has the wisdom of someone 4 times his maturity. But when I was thinking about this story this week, it occurred to me that actually the way he acts, the way he lives his life is a very Jewish thing. It is a very Jewish identity to face difficult moments in life with a sense of acceptance and purpose. It is actually in our DNA to accept change and to rebuild, hopefully, over and over again. That is the story of our people, from challenge to courage. We move in an ever-repeating cycle. And there's a great example that appears in this week's Torah portion, Vayishlach. Jacob is in one of the darkest periods of his life. He is in conflict with his brother. He has duped his father, and he finds himself on one fateful night wandering aimlessly through the desert when he wrestles with an angel, or some say actually with God. And in the aftermath of that wrestling match, Jacob affirms his purpose. His struggle isn't just a physical one with an angel or with God. It is about the change that he's going through to define his life's purpose. And a result of that struggle with God, he's given the name Israel, one who wrestles with the divine and with himself. Jacob is to become the father of our people. He will be called Israel, and he is transformed for good. Now, it shouldn't be overlooked that this story in our Torah portion comes just before we celebrate Hanukkah, a holiday that is also about identity and transformation. You know the story. In the time of the Maccabees, the pressure to assimilate was very strong. Greek culture promised our ancestors comfort and status, but at the cost of faith and commitment to Judaism. But the Maccabees chose conviction over compromise. They fought for the very soul of our people, just like Albert Levi turned a simple, single decision of life into purpose. The Maccabees remind us that our identity is something we defend and renew over and over. What does it mean to be Israel? To be the people of Israel in a world that challenges us all of the time? And the answer is that our Jewish identity is worth the struggle. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, if you've made a connection, what kind of modern rabbi would I be if I did not somehow take this sermon directly to the just-released new Wicked movie? I take you to the song, For Good. And it reminds us that there is good and there is evil that often experience life in the same world. And sometimes it's hard to know who is who. But here's the truth. It's actually the struggle against evil that shapes us. Every challenge, every choice, every moment of wrestling with ourselves and with God changes us. As the lyric says, because we knew struggle, we have been changed for good. So where does that leave us? Albert's story, Jacob's struggle in the Bible, the courage of the Maccabees, even pop culture. These aren't just ancient or distant narratives and stories. They're like mirrors. They remind us that our change, our transformation comes in the tension we feel, and the light comes out of the wrestling matches in the darkness. We live in a moment that demands that kind of courage. The world is going to challenge our values over and over again, question our identity, and test our resolve. But like Jacob, we walk forward, maybe limping a little bit after the fight, but blessed. Please accept the discomfort. Lean into the challenge. Choose hope over despair, purpose over apathy, and light over the shadows. Albert, Jacob, the Maccabees, they are us. May we all find the good and be changed